Good to be back here. We were here last year, had a great time. We have a relatively short amount of time to get through the information. I'm just going to cut to the chase. But before I do that, I just want to give you a quick overview of who I am, because I think when people get up and speak, if you don't know who they are, then their ideas sort of hang in space. And so if you know who someone is, it gives you the context to understand what they say. So, obviously born with cerebral palsy, went to segregated school for disabled kids up to grade 7. And then grade 8 they wanted to put me in the regular school. So you segregated class to regular school 5 miles away from my home. And I nixed that idea because I know when you show up at school on a little yellow bus, that blows any chance you have with girls. So I've argued myself into regular school, solved all the problems, went on to go into high school and then university, then undergraduate degree in humanities and critical theory. And then, geez, I gotta make a living, don't I? So, went on to do a master's degree in family therapy. But my undergrad degree, I wrote a book about my experiences in going to regular school. The book got published, and that catapulted me into an unexpected speaking career. So when I finished my master's in family therapy, I had the option of taking a really ordinary job as a family therapist, a really glamorous job as a public speaker. So I said, well, I'll do the speaking for 1 year, and if I don't starve, I'll keep doing it. So I didn't starve. But why I say that is that as I talk to you, I'm as it were wearing 2 hats, which is quite a feat for someone with spasticity. Because I'm speaking both as an insider, as a person with a disability who has not only known his own experience, there's been a lot of time talking to other people with disabilities, and I'm a clinician. So if you want to talk about empirical research, multiple regression, I can do that. So yeah, I won't, don't worry. But I can, so I'm telling you with those 2 perspectives. I think that mingling in 2 perspectives is really important in shaping, as it were, my jacket, right? So, now they tell you should always start a speech with a joke. So here's my joke. Actually, it's no joke. It's actually what I think is a Sufi story. But no, it's not. That was the 2 dogs. All right, anyway. And here's the stories. The story goes, policeman was walking down his beat one night and saw this man on the street, on the sidewalk, crawling around under a street light. And the policeman came up to him and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I lost my keys, I'm looking for them." The and say, well, where'd you lose them? Says, I lost them way over there. Policeman goes, well, if you lost them way over there, why are you looking here? And he said, because the light's better over here. I think that story is a really emblematic tale of the situation that we find ourselves in throughout the world around this issue of positive behavioral support. Because many of the things we're being taught to do seem easy, they seem efficacious, and so we look under the light. And I keep wondering why the hell I can't find my keys. We're going to suggest is that in our experience, the answers or the keys, as it were, come from looking out where the light may not be best. And so we're going to introduce you to two arenas that typically don't get looked at when we look at positive behavioral support. Usually we go to non-disabled professionals who have a background in, a variety of therapies, or we go to families. But we're going to look at two other fields of expertise, which we think provide unique answers. And the first field is adults with disabilities. We talk about listening to the children experiencing behavior. But there is a gold mine of really, really valuable information of autistic adults who spent 10, 15, 20 years trying to learn how to manage excessive input, who've come to understand the role of stimming, the role of repetitive language, and they give insights that no one else is providing it. We're going to introduce you to one of these people. Right? Oh yeah, two of you, right? The other group we're going to introduce you to very briefly is hostage negotiators. See, we only talk to other professionals who work in this field, so you always get the same answers. Because you're always talking to the same people, asking the same questions. Emma, as you'll find out, their master's research, and rather than going to behavioral therapists, she went, what would hostage negotiators say about this? And found out some really new information. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the first half, and then Emma will take over. So, the problem is, of course, this is an alternative view. And most people, more professionals with a lot of families, feel more comfortable sticking with what is more traditional, what is more well known. Something, shall we say, that's akin to this, all right? Here's a warning for somewhat off-color language. Mike, I know you might be offended by this, so you may want to go rhubarb. But here is what we may see as, the approaches where you're working with the light is better. Be nice.
I need help with my client.
Okay, what is the problem?
My client throws things, swears at staff, and doesn't follow the rules. And they drink too many pops. Right now, they are rewarded by going out to eat if they go 14 days with no behaviors.
What do you mean no behaviors? How can a person have no behaviors? Do you mean swearing? Throwing things? Not following rules?
No behaviors for 14 days.
Okay, whatever. So no behaviors for 14 days and they are rewarded by going out to eat. Who pays the bill?
They use their own money.
Let me get this straight. Your client, who is an adult, can't swear, throw things, or break any rules for 14 days, and then they get to go out to eat with their own money.
Yes.
It sounds goddamn ridiculous just saying it out loud.
What did you say?
Nothing. Tell me about your client's life. Does your client like their roommates?
No. Why does that matter?
Do they get to go out and spend their money?
Not really. Why does that matter?
So they can't just go and get a pop or go out to eat one day if they feel like it?
What? No way. Why does that matter? They drink too many pops. How do we get them to stop swearing? Maybe we should take away their pops if they swear.
Okay then. What do they do for fun?
They go shopping or out for coffee once a week. My client called me a piece of shit. How do I get them to stop swearing?
Wow, they have an exciting life, coffee and shopping once a week. They called you a piece of shit because that's what you are. How about I teach them how to punch you in the face?
What did you say?
Nothing. Do they help with chores around the house?
No, the staff do that.
Do they help with laundry?
No, the staff do that.
Do they cook or clean? Get the mail? Look at their paychecks and pay bills? Do yard work?
No, the staff do that. How do we get them to stop swearing?
If I had nothing to do all day, I'd swear, throw things, break your stupid-ass rules, and drink pop all day too.
Sometimes they get extra pops at work. Should we take away their pop at home? Do you think they should get a refill at a restaurant?
How about we teach them how to help around the house more? Do their laundry? Or make a budget?
How do we get them to stop swearing? Let's reward them with pops if they don't swear.
Who gives a shit about how much they swear, or how many pops they drink? Just take them to a porn store, a strip joint, or out to get drunk. They are swearing, throwing things, and breaking rules, because their lives suck and they aren't getting any action. Jesus Christ, it's not that complicated.
So, as ridiculous and hilarious as that may seem, that's actually not a bad, not too much of a hyperbolic example of what is happening to people with disabilities. Now, every behavioral therapist will say, no, of course we listen to people with disabilities. Of course we're curious. But there's another question that comes to my mind as a disabled person. And that, yes, you may be curious, but who has agency in the decisions that flow out of curiosity? See, the way I like to think about the relationship between a clinician and a disabled person is not like driving a car. In most situations, the clinician is in the driver's seat. Now, they may be nice to the disabled person. They may be curious. They may even ask for directions. That isn't being curious. What we need to say is, when do we let the disabled person step into the driver's seat? And because that's when we give people agency, I think that represents a different level of collaboration that goes beyond mere curiosity. So, let me begin my question, and that is, quote, one of our great mentors was her beloved, who tragically died in the mid-1990s But he once said this: when people with disabilities protest their lives, particularly with aggressive behavior, the professional response is to put them on behavior programs. It rarely occurs to those of us who do or have done this that we are in fact working within a larger social pattern of keeping dissident voices silent, of keeping the powerless powerless. That is the context I think we need to bear in mind. Not simply how do we eradicate or eliminate, minimize behavior, but what is happening in this enlarged social context where disabled people are marginalized, disempowered, especially if they can't communicate with the groups. So, what do I do? You ought to take over because you do this faster. Yeah. Sure, why don't you? Reasonable accommodation.
Reasonable accommodation.